What would you do if you discovered that the people you trusted most were hiding a secret from you? A secret so deep, it could break everything you believed to be true? For years, I had been told, you were never betrayed. You were just overthinking it. I believed them. It seemed impossible to imagine that someone I trusted, someone I thought would never deceive me, could hide something so significant from me. Yet, as I sit here, reflecting on everything that's happened, I know deep in my heart that there was something more beneath the surface. I had a secret, one I kept hidden from everyone, including the ones closest to me. It's strange how easily the truth can remain buried when everyone around you insists on a different narrative. For the longest time, I told myself I was wrong to feel betrayed. Maybe I was just paranoid. Maybe they were right. But as time went on, something in me began to shift. I started to doubt the story they were telling me. I began to question if I had really been the one misled, or if I was the one who had missed something all along. You see, the truth isn't always what we see in front of us. Sometimes, it's hidden beneath layers of carefully constructed lies, spun so artfully that you don't even realize something is missing until the pieces fall apart. I had lived with the belief that I wasn't betrayed. After all, who would betray me? But little did I know, the people I trusted most were playing a game I wasn't even aware of. I didn't know it yet, but the secret I had been hiding was about to become the key to unlocking everything I thought I knew about betrayal, trust, and the very nature of human connection. The moment I discovered the truth, the moment I saw the layers of lies for what they really were, everything changed. And the worst part? It wasn't even the betrayal itself that broke me. It was the realization that I had been living in the shadow of something I didn't understand. They said I wasn't betrayed, but in reality, it was I who had been deceiving myself. What would you do if you knew you had been living a lie? My name is Emma. I was always the kind of person who believed in the good of others, who trusted without question, and who sought to protect the relationships that mattered most. Growing up, my parents instilled in me the values of honesty, loyalty, and trust. Those principles shaped me into someone who would go to any lengths for the people I cared about. But as time went on, I learned that the world doesn't always operate on the same set of rules. I remember the first time I met Sarah. It was during my freshman year of college, and we were assigned as roommates in the dorms. From the moment we met, I felt an instant connection with her. She was warm, easygoing, and just had this infectious energy that made everyone around her feel at ease. She became my best friend almost overnight. We shared everything, from our hopes and dreams to our darkest secrets. We were inseparable. Sarah had a way of making people feel special, like they were the only ones who mattered in the room. I thought she was the kind of friend who would never betray you. She had a smile that lit up the darkest of rooms, and it was easy to get lost in the warmth of her presence. But as the years passed, I began to notice things, small things that didn't add up. I should have known something was wrong when Sarah started changing. At first it was subtle. She became more distant, more guarded. She would often go out without telling me, making excuses for why she couldn't spend time with me like we used to. I chalked it up to her getting busier, adjusting to life after graduation, but deep down, a small voice inside me told me something wasn't right. I ignored it, telling myself that maybe I was just being insecure. The real turning point came when I met Alex. He was charismatic, charming, and seemed to have everything going for him. He quickly became a close friend, and I found myself confiding in him as I did with Sarah. He was the kind of person who always knew the right thing to say, the one who made me feel understood in ways I hadn't felt in a long time. Alex became an important part of my life, but I never realized just how entwined he was with Sarah until it was too late. I started noticing the strange interactions between them, the secretive glances, the hushed conversations when I walked into a room. At first, I dismissed it as nothing more than my overactive imagination. But one night, I saw something that shattered my sense of reality. It was a small thing, an offhand comment made by Sarah, something she said in passing. "Don't worry, Emma will never figure it out." Those words haunted me for weeks. What did Sarah mean by that? What was she hiding from me? And why was Alex involved in whatever it was? I spent days replaying that moment in my mind, trying to understand if I was just reading too much into it or if there was something more to this. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I had been blind to the signs all along. As I delved deeper into my suspicions, I began to unravel things I never thought possible. I found out that Alex and Sarah had been keeping secrets from me for years. They had been meeting behind my back, talking about things I wasn't privy to. And the more I uncovered, the more I realized that their actions weren't just harmless. They were orchestrating something that directly involved me. I couldn't understand it. Why would Sarah, my best friend, betray me like this? And why was Alex, someone I had trusted with my deepest thoughts, helping her? But the truth is, betrayal doesn't always come from the places you expect. Sometimes it comes from the people you least suspect. The shock of learning that two of the people closest to me were hiding something so significant was overwhelming. It felt like the ground beneath my feet had been pulled away. I didn't know who to trust anymore, who I could turn to for answers. I felt lost, confused, and utterly betrayed. But there was something else, something even more unsettling. As I sifted through the lies and half-truths, I realized that I wasn't the only one who had been hiding things. I had my own secret, a secret I had kept buried deep inside me, afraid that if anyone knew the truth about it, everything would fall apart. For years, I had carried a burden I couldn't share with anyone. And as I uncovered more and more about Sarah and Alex, I realized that the secret I had been hiding might just be the key to understanding everything that had happened. The truth was starting to sink in, but it wasn't making anything easier. With each new revelation, I felt like I was losing control of the situation. I couldn't understand why Sarah and Alex would do this to me. We had shared so many moments, built so many memories together. How could they possibly be plotting something behind my back? I spent countless sleepless nights replaying everything, our conversations, the small details I had missed. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that everything, every moment, every laugh had been a lie. But there was something even more unsettling than their betrayal, the secret I had been keeping. As time passed, the weight of it began to feel unbearable. I kept telling myself that I had to confront Sarah and Alex, but the fear of facing the truth was paralyzing. What if they didn't care? What if they just laughed it off, or, worse, turned the tables on me? I felt like I was caught in a web of lies, each strand pulling me deeper into a reality I wasn't sure I could escape. The tension was palpable, hanging over every interaction. I started to notice the small, almost imperceptible things. The way Sarah avoided eye contact when we were in the same room, the way Alex would subtly change the subject whenever I asked about them. I couldn't ignore it any longer. I knew something was coming. The question was, what would happen when everything finally came to light? It all came to a head one evening when I received a cryptic text message from Sarah. "I need to talk to you. It's time for you to know the truth." I felt a knot form in my stomach as I stared at the screen. My hands trembled, my mind racing with possibilities. Was this the moment I had been waiting for? Or was this the moment everything would fall apart? I had no idea what to expect, but I knew one thing. I couldn't keep running from the truth any longer. I agreed to meet Sarah at our favorite cafe, the one where we used to sit for hours, talking about everything and nothing. But when I arrived, she was already there, sitting at a table in the back, her face hidden behind a cup of coffee. Her posture was stiff, tense. She didn't look up when I walked in, but I could feel her eyes on me, watching me carefully. I took a seat across from her, my heart pounding in my chest. "Sarah," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "What's going on? What's this about?" She took a deep breath, looking me in the eyes for the first time in what felt like forever. "I never wanted to hurt you, Emma. I swear I didn't. But you need to understand. I never meant for it to go this far." Her words were like a punch to the gut. I could see the guilt written all over her face, but that didn't make it any easier. "What are you talking about, Sarah? You've been hiding things from me, things I don't understand. And so has Alex. What is it?" Sarah hesitated, her eyes darting to the side as if she were searching for the right words. "I don't know how to say this, but Alex and I—" She stopped herself, her breath catching in her throat. "We've been seeing each other for months now, Emma. Behind your back." And we didn't want to hurt you, but we didn't know how to tell you. We were afraid it would ruin everything." The words felt like a slap. My world, everything I thought I knew about our friendship, came crashing down around me. Sarah and Alex?
Together? How could they do this to me?
How could they betray me like this after everything we had shared? "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Why hide it from me?" Sarah looked down at her coffee, her hands shaking. "We didn't know how. We were scared, Emma. We didn't know how you would react. We thought you might not understand." A bitter laugh escaped my lips. Understand? How could I understand this? You lied to me. You hid something so important, something that directly involved me, and now you expect me to just accept it. "I never wanted to hurt you," Sarah repeated, her voice cracking. "I'm so sorry. We both are. But the truth is, we never meant for it to go this far. We didn't know how to fix it." I wanted to scream, to shout at her, to ask how they could have kept something so big from me. But instead, I sat there, frozen. The betrayal wasn't just in the affair between them. It was in the lies, the secrecy, and the manipulation. They had made decisions about my life, without even considering how it would affect me. As I sat there, absorbing the weight of Sarah's confession, I couldn't help but wonder, what about my secret? I had kept it hidden for so long, but now, in this moment, I couldn't ignore it any longer. Was I really so different from them? Had I been lying to myself all this time, just as they had been lying to me? I left the cafe that day with more questions than answers. The betrayal stung, but it was the self-doubt that truly gnawed at me. What was the point of holding on to a friendship that was built on lies? And what was the point of keeping a secret that threatened to unravel everything I had worked so hard to protect? The conflict within me grew. I had to confront Sarah and Alex, but I also had to confront myself. I had my own secret to reveal, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for the fallout. The days after that meeting with Sarah were a blur, each one feeling like it was stretching on forever. I couldn't shake the heaviness in my chest. I had learned something I wasn't prepared for, and I knew I had a choice to make. I could either keep walking away, burying myself in denial and anger, or I could face the truth head-on. But there was still that nagging secret, the one I had kept from them and everyone else for so long. Could I really bring myself to share it? Could I expose my vulnerability, knowing what it might cost me? The decision loomed over me like a storm cloud, threatening to burst at any moment. It wasn't just about Sarah and Alex anymore. It was about me, my life, and my future. I had to make a stand, and I had to do it on my own terms. One evening, after days of wrestling with my emotions, I finally gathered the strength to do what I knew was inevitable. I texted Sarah and Alex, arranging to meet at the park where we used to spend hours talking, laughing, and simply being together. The park had once been a sanctuary, a place of peace. Now, it felt like the stage for a confrontation I wasn't sure I was ready for. As I walked there, my heart pounded in my chest. The cool evening air did nothing to calm the storm raging inside me. I knew they would be there, but I had no idea what to expect. Would they apologize? Would they try to justify their actions? And more importantly, how would I react? When I arrived, Sarah and Alex were already waiting by the old oak tree. The same oak tree where we had carved our initials when we were younger, when life had felt so simple. Now, standing before them, everything felt complicated, fractured, and impossible to repair. "Emma," Sarah said softly as I approached, her eyes red-rimmed, like she had been crying. "Thank you for meeting us. We know this is hard, but we wanted to tell you that we're truly sorry. What we did was wrong, and we understand how much it hurt you." I could see the sincerity in her eyes, but that didn't make the betrayal any easier to accept. "Sorry doesn't fix this, Sarah," I replied, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and hurt. "You both betrayed me. You lied to me, hid everything from me, and when I needed you the most, you turned your back on me." Alex shifted uncomfortably beside Sarah, his face pale, guilt written all over him. "We never wanted to hurt you," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "But we were scared. We didn't know how to tell you. We didn't know how to handle it ourselves." I could feel the frustration bubbling inside me, but I knew I needed to remain composed. If I let the anger consume me, I wouldn't be able to say what I had to say. I couldn't let this moment pass without revealing everything, the truth that I'd kept buried for so long. "I've been keeping something from both of you too," I said, my voice shaking as I finally spoke the words I had been holding back. "And I need to say it now because I can't keep pretending anymore. I've been hiding my feelings. The truth is, I've loved Alex for a long time. But I never told you because I thought I would lose both of you. I thought that if I spoke up, I'd destroy everything, and I couldn't bear the thought of that." A stunned silence fell over us. For a moment, no one said anything. Sarah and Alex just stared at me, the weight of my confession hanging in the air like a heavy fog. "I've always been there for you both," I continued, my voice stronger now, though my heart was still racing. "But I've been holding this secret for so long that it feels like it's killing me. The truth is, I've been too afraid to face it, afraid of losing the friendship I thought I had, afraid of how it might change everything." Tears welled up in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I had already lost so much. I wasn't about to let my emotions betray me now. "I don't know how we move forward from this," I said, my voice quieter now. "But I know I can't carry this burden anymore. I've been betrayed, yes, but I've also been hiding from my own truth. I have to let go of that too." The three of us stood there for a long moment, the gravity of what had been said settling over us like a thick blanket. And then, slowly, Sarah stepped forward, her hand reaching out to mine. "Emma," she said softly, her voice filled with regret. "I had no idea. I never knew you felt that way about Alex." I looked at her, seeing the genuine remorse in her eyes. "It's not just about Alex, Sarah. It's about trust, about what we've built and what we've broken. It's about the lies we've told each other and the things we should have said but didn't." Alex, too, stepped forward, his expression one of guilt and sadness. "I don't know what to say," he admitted. "I never meant to hurt you, Emma. I thought I was protecting you by hiding it, but now I see that I only made things worse." I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "I don't know if I can forgive you yet, but I'm willing to try," I said, my voice firm but filled with a mix of hope and uncertainty. "But it's going to take time. We all need to work through this, and we can't pretend like nothing happened. We have to face the consequences of our actions. But maybe, just maybe, we can rebuild." As we stood there, all three of us together in that moment of raw honesty, something shifted. The weight of the secrets we had been carrying for so long seemed a little lighter. The truth, though painful, had set us free in ways we hadn't expected. We weren't back to where we were before. We weren't going to just pick up the pieces and pretend like everything was fine. But we had opened the door to something new, a chance to rebuild what was broken, to find forgiveness, and to start again. As the evening sun dipped below the horizon, I looked at Sarah and Alex, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't feel completely lost. I didn't have all the answers, and I didn't know what the future would hold. But I knew one thing for sure. The truth had set me free. It was time to let go of the past and face whatever came next, together or apart. As the night descended and the stars began to twinkle above us, a profound silence hung in the air. The emotional whirlwind that had swept through me earlier was starting to settle. The world had not paused, but in that moment, everything felt different. The weight of the past, the confusion, the hurt, all of it felt more bearable now. There was a sense of clarity, as though the fog had lifted, even if just for a moment. I stood there, looking at the two people I had once considered my closest allies. They were both standing before me, eyes full of regret and vulnerability. But in that vulnerability, I saw a shared humanity, one that was flawed, yes, but also capable of growth and change. The hardest thing in life is not facing the betrayal itself, but facing the parts of ourselves that we've hidden for so long. It's in those quiet moments of honesty, when we choose to shed our masks, that we come face to face with the truth. And the truth is, sometimes we betray ourselves long before anyone else does. We betray our own hearts by hiding what we feel, by not trusting others with our deepest wounds, and by holding on to the fear of rejection or judgment. That moment in the park wasn't just about the past. It was about a future, uncertain as it may be, that was now open to us. A future where we could either heal and rebuild or drift apart forever, stuck in the same cycle of regret. I had taken the first step toward letting go of the past, and now it was their turn. "I don't have all the answers," I said, my voice soft but clear. "But I want to try. I want to find a way forward, even if it's hard. I want to let go of the anger, and I want to heal." Sarah nodded, her eyes glistening with tears. "We want that too. We want to fix this, even if it takes time." Alex, standing beside her, gave a solemn nod. "We can rebuild this, Emma. But we have to be honest with each other from here on out." And in that moment, I realized something crucial. Forgiveness, true forgiveness, is not about erasing the hurt or pretending it never happened. It's about choosing to let go of the power that pain holds over you. It's about saying, "I've been hurt, but I am choosing to rise above it. I am choosing to move forward with hope, even when it feels impossible." As the evening wore on, the weight of the conversation slowly lifted. We had confronted the past, and now we stood at the threshold of something new. I didn't know what the future would look like, but I knew that I had taken the first step toward healing. The road ahead would be challenging. There would be moments of doubt, of fear, and maybe even more moments of betrayal. But we had learned something vital that day, that the truth, however painful, had the power to heal wounds that had been festering for too long. And so, as the night grew deeper, I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, "It's time to move on. It's time to rebuild, piece by piece, even if it takes a lifetime." The world might not have stopped spinning, but for once, I felt like I could breathe again.
And that was enough.